Life flows like music, an unbroken stream of moments, each one a note, carrying us forward in an ever-changing composition. Like music, life doesn't demand rigid structure, it thrives in its fluidity, moving seamlessly from one rhythm to another. At times it rises with the intensity of a crescendo, filling our hearts with energy and passion. Other times it falls into softer, quieter movements, where the spaces between the notes matter as much as the notes themselves. Just as a melody unfolds with a natural progression, life happens in its own time. You cannot rush the song of existence. Its tempo is neither yours to control nor yours to stop. If you try to hurry it, you lose its essence. If you try to slow it down, you disrupt its flow. Life, like music, is meant to be experienced as it happens moment by moment, letting each part exist fully before the next emerges. And much like music, life carries contrasts. There are light, playful tunes that feel like carefree summer days, and then there are deeper, more somber movements that echo with melancholy and longing. Yet it is these contrasts that give the composition its richness, allowing us to appreciate the harmony even more. The highs would not be as sweet without the lows. The vibrant notes would lose their brilliance without the spaces of silence. The flow of life, like a song, is not about perfection but expression. A beautiful melody does not repeat the same note endlessly. It wanders, improvises, explores unexpected turns, and sometimes lingers in places we do not anticipate. So too does life, where each experience, no matter how small, adds its tone to the greater symphony. The beauty of music lies in its impermanence. It cannot be held or paused. Once a note is played, it drifts into the air and becomes part of the past. Life mirrors this fleeting quality, where every moment arrives, passes through us, and fades into memory. Yet in its passing it leaves behind something profound, an imprint, a resonance that stays with us long after the sound has disappeared. Life flows like music, guided by rhythms that are sometimes loud and clear, and sometimes so subtle we must learn to listen carefully to hear them. These rhythms shape our days, our relationships, and the quiet moments in between. They are not something to resist or fight against, for music, when forced, loses its soul. Instead, they are something to surrender to move with, and to embrace as an ever-changing part of the song. You are the dancer and expression of life's music, moving in response to its rhythm. You do not create the song, yet it flows through you, inviting you to participate. Your movements are your choices, your gestures, your way of being in the world. Unlike a rigid machine that follows predictable motions, the dancer is alive, spontaneous, and free, interpreting each note as it comes. There is no single right way to move. Your dance is yours alone, shaped by who you are and how deeply you are willing to listen. To be the dancer is to live in harmony with the present moment. When the music quickens, you leap with energy and abandon. When it slows, you sway gently, honoring the quieter tones. Your body, your mind, your spirit, they all come together as instruments of movement, responding without overthinking. The dance is not rehearsed, it emerges naturally, step by step, in real time. This is the magic of the dancer. Every motion arises not from control, but from trust. The dancer does not resist the music. Resistance creates stiffness, tension, and awkwardness. Instead, the dancer flows, allowing the rhythm to guide them. It is not about dominance over life's song, but about partnership. When life plays an unexpected tune, when rhythms change suddenly or melodies shift, the dancer adapts, turning the unexpected into part of the performance. Even missteps become part of the dance, as the dancer understands that movement is never wasted. Each motion, even imperfect, adds to the fullness of the experience. To dance is to embody the present, for the dance cannot exist outside of now. You cannot dance in the past, and you cannot anticipate every movement of the future. You can only move with what is unfolding in this instant. The more you worry about how you look or whether you are doing it right, the more you disconnect from the music and stumble. The dancer's freedom lies in letting go of judgment, embracing each step without hesitation or regret. As the dancer, you are not separate from the music. You do not stand outside of life. Observing from a distance, you are immersed within it. You feel the rhythm, the vibration, the pulse of the world as it moves through you, and your movements become an expression of this connection. Whether the music is chaotic or calm, joyous or somber, you respond not with fear, but with creativity, grace, and presence. The beauty of being the dancer is that you are not bound to any single pattern or form. You are free to move in ways that are uniquely yours, to explore the spaces between the notes, to bend and stretch in response to life's ever-changing composition. No two dances are ever alike, because no two moments are the same. You are constantly discovering, adjusting, and expressing what the music calls forth in you. The music exists for the dance. Life's rhythms, melodies, and silences are not ends in themselves. They are invitations to move, to engage, to express. The song of life does not play to be analyzed or trapped in rigid patterns of thought. It plays so that you may participate, so that you may respond with spontaneity. To try and capture the song is to miss its purpose. Music is meant to be listened to be experienced fully in the present. It cannot be paused, owned, or held onto, because its value lies in its unfolding. When you hear a beautiful tune, you do not demand that it lasts forever. You surrender to it, knowing that its fleeting nature is what makes it special. Life, too, must be surrendered to. It is not something you can trap and analyze without losing its aliveness. Think of the sky at sunrise, each second different, each color blending into the next. You cannot hold on to it, you can only witness it, immerse yourself in it, and allow it to pass. Life's song is no different. Its notes come and go, constantly shifting, never to be repeated in quite the same way. The more you understand this, the more you realize that trying to capture the song is futile, for its essence lies in its flow, not its containment. You cannot possess the song just as you cannot possess life. Both defy ownership because they are expressions of something far greater than any one moment, any one note, or any one experience. The song exists not to be kept, but to be heard and felt as it happens. To try and capture it is to reduce it, to strip it of its magic and turn it into something static, something it was never meant to be. The beauty of a song lies in its impermanence, in its willingness to exist without holding back, without asking for permanence. Each note arrives, passes, and gives way to the next, creating a symphony of continuous change. Life offers you the same gift. It moves through you, around you, and within you, but it cannot be bottled or stored. The more you try to cling to it, the more you find yourself holding an echo of what once was, rather than the living music that is playing right now. Dancing is not analyzing, because the essence of dance is spontaneity, an immediate and natural response to the music that transcends thought. The moment you begin to analyze your movements, to judge, calculate, or anticipate the next step, the dance loses its flow, and you become disconnected from the rhythm. Dance, like life, happens in the present. It is a raw expression of being, unfiltered and free. Analysis, on the other hand, pulls you into the mind, where the music becomes a problem to solve rather than a partner to move with. When you dance, you are not concerned with precision or perfection. You are concerned only with the act of moving. To analyze is to step back and observe, But dancing is about immersion, being so fully in tune with the music that your body moves without hesitation or second guessing. It is not about asking, is this the right step or what comes next? It is about allowing the rhythm to guide you, trusting that your movements will arise naturally when you let go of control. The analytical mind seeks to measure, to compare, and to define, but the beauty of dancing is that it defies measurement. It is not a series of planned motions, but an unfolding expression. The dancer does not stop to question every move. To do so would disrupt the flow and break the connection with the music. The dance is not something you can perfect through thought, it is something you embody through feeling. It is an experience that emerges from the union of music, movement, and presence. Consider a river flowing effortlessly downstream. It does not pause to decide where to move next, it simply flows, finding its path naturally. The same is true of the dancer. When you allow yourself to move without analyzing, your body becomes an extension of the rhythm, and each motion becomes effortless. Thought introduces friction, like a dam disrupting the current, causing hesitation, doubt, and self-consciousness. In this way, analyzing kills the spontaneity that gives the dance its life. To dance is to trust your instincts, your body, and the music itself. Analysis creates distance, a gap between you and the experience, while dancing bridges that gap. It is a way of being fully present, of dissolving the barrier between yourself and the rhythm. The moment you step out of your head and into the flow, you discover that the dance was always within you, waiting to be expressed. The analytical mind wants to plan for certainty, but dance embraces uncertainty. You do not know what the next step will be, and that is precisely the point. The dance invites you to let go of expectations and move with what is happening now. And to analyze would be to try and control the experience, to turn it into something predictable and rigid, but dancing is alive, it thrives in unpredictability, in the freedom of not knowing what comes next. When you analyze, you become the observer, detached from the act itself. But dancing is not about watching or thinking, it is about becoming. The dancer is not separate from the dance, they are one and the same. It is only by stepping beyond analysis that you can merge with the music, allowing your movements to arise not from the mind, but from the deep well of feeling, intuition, and connection. Harmony comes from listening, because to listen is to be fully present, attuned to what is happening within and around you. It is not simply hearing sounds or words, it is a deeper kind of attention, a surrender to what is. In music, harmony arises when different notes meet in balance, complementing one another rather than competing. This balance is not forced, it is discovered, felt, and expressed through listening. To truly listen is to understand the relationship between the parts, the spaces, and the silences, allowing them to coexist in a way that creates unity. Life. Resistance creates disharmony because it disrupts the natural flow of life, like an instrument playing out of tune within an orchestra. Life, much like music, moves in a rhythm that carries us forward, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes joyful, sometimes somber, but always in motion. When you resist this motion, when you cling, fight, or refuse to adapt, you create friction between yourself and the unfolding of the moment. This friction is disharmony, a discordant note that reverberates through your body, your mind, and your spirit, separating you from the rhythm of existence. Resistance arises when you refuse to accept what is, trying instead to force life into a shape that fits your desires or expectations. The flow of life, like music, cannot be controlled. It is dynamic, ever-changing, and unpredictable. To resist it is to stand still in a river that moves around you, creating turbulence instead of ease, strain instead of grace. You feel pulled in opposing directions, one part of you pushing against reality, the other part swept along by it. In this struggle, harmony disappears and tension takes its place. Consider a dancer who resists the music, one who tries to impose their movements instead of listening to the rhythm. Their steps become rigid, disconnected, and out of sync. The dance loses its beauty because resistance breaks the connection between the dancer and the music. The same happens in life. When you resist the circumstances, the emotions, or the changes that arise, you lose your ability to move fluidly with them. Instead of responding with creativity and trust, you react with stiffness and frustration, creating an internal conflict that disturbs your peace. Resistance also creates disharmony within relationships. When you resist another person's perspective, their feelings, or their truth, you close yourself off, creating a barrier that isolates you. Harmony is born of listening, understanding, and adapting, but resistance turns these possibilities into arguments, misunderstandings, and distance. Just as a single instrument resisting the key of the composition creates discord, a single moment of refusal to accept or adjust can create a ripple of disharmony within the larger symphony of connection. Even within yourself, resistance creates disharmony. When you resist your own emotions, pushing away sadness, ignoring discomfort, or denying fear, you fracture your inner world. Emotions, like the notes of a song, are meant to be felt and expressed. To resist them is to stifle their movement, leaving them trapped inside you where they fester and grow heavier. In contrast, allowing emotions to flow freely creates balance, as each feeling arises, moves through you, and passes naturally, making way for the next note in life's melody. Resistance is the source of tension because it demands that life conform to you rather than inviting you to align yourself with life. Nature shows us that harmony comes from yielding, from bending without breaking, from flowing with what arises. A tree does not resist the wind it sways, allowing the energy to move through it. The ocean does not resist the pull of the tides. It rises and falls in perfect harmony with the forces that guide it. In contrast, resistance is brittle, unyielding, and prone to breaking under pressure. Disharmony grows stronger the more you resist, for resistance feeds itself. The tighter you hold on, the more painful the friction becomes, and the further you drift from the natural rhythm of life. Instead of moving with what is, you lock yourself in opposition, exhausting your energy and distorting your perspective. What might have been a temporary challenge becomes a prolonged struggle, because resistance magnifies the very thing you seek to avoid. To resist is to reject the truth of the present moment, to see life as an enemy rather than a partner. It is an attempt to stop the music, to silence the notes that you do not wish to hear, yet the music continues to play regardless. Resistance only ensures that you remain out of tune, disconnected from the beauty and flow that life offers. Harmony cannot be forced. It arises naturally when you let go, when you soften, and when you move with the rhythm that already exists. Presence is the key to dancing, because the essence of the dance lies in the moment, where thought falls away and the body, mind, and music move as one. To be present is to immerse yourself completely in the rhythm, to feel each beat as it arrives, and to respond without hesitation or distraction. Presence allows the dance to flow effortlessly, as you are no longer caught in the past or reaching toward the future. You do not think about the step that has already passed, nor do you anticipate the one yet to come. You are here, now, fully attuned to the music and its unfolding. When you dance with presence, the experience transforms. The dance is no longer a mechanical act of going through motions, but a living expression of who you are in this very instant. The body becomes lighter, freer, more fluid, because it is no longer burdened by overthinking or self-judgment. The music ceases to be something outside of you. Instead, it flows through you, and your movements arise naturally, as though they are an extension of the sound itself. It is presence that allows this connection to take root, enabling you to hear, feel, and embody the rhythm fully. Presence strips away resistance, for there is no room for conflict or hesitation when you are truly here. The chatter of the mind, its worries, expectations, and distractions fall silent, and in its place arises a deep and wordless awareness. This awareness anchors you in the present, where life's pulse and the music's beat merge into one.